Hey folks, well, I felt it's time for another video, and this time I've got a fairly good numpty. It's got about 17 videos, all about 10 to 20 seconds long, so I'll be including as much in this video as I can, and we'll have some fun.
Quick question for atheists. Is murder wrong? Why or why not?
Well, the moral reason is you're taking someone's life. The second one is it's against the law. And if it wasn't against the law, would it still be immoral? Well, probably not, because society wouldn't view it that way.
Quick question for atheists. Is it wrong to rape a person? What about if that person's in a coma? Please explain why you answered the way you did, and what evidence you used to come to your conclusion.
I mean, what evidence for that I need to prove that rape is wrong, despite the psychological damage, the physical damage it can do to a person who's been raped? Well, mainly because rape is more about owning, it's more about ownership, it's more about dominance than it is about sex. And it's very wrong for that very simple reason. It's damaging to the person to do it. Now, your coma question, that's interesting, because does that suggest you think you should be able to rape people that are in comas? Because you think they don't feel it?
Quick question for atheists. Is it wrong to worship God? Why or why not?
Well, that's a stupid fucking question to ask an atheist, isn't it? Yes, it is wrong to worship God, because mass delusion is not a fucking good thing to have.
Quick question for atheists. When does life begin? How do you know? And what evidence do you have to support your conclusion?
Duh! Life begins at 40, haven't you heard? Everyone says so it must be true. I mean, I can't think of anyone saying anything else, and what evidence do I have? Well, look at all the people that are over 40 that are loving life. So life begins at 40.
Quick question for atheists. Is being greedy wrong? Why or why not? What evidence do you have to come to your conclusion?
Is greed wrong? Well, in one sense, yes it is, and in another sense, no, it's not. It's not set in stone. But everything is mine. Simple as that. I want it all. It's all mine.
Quick question for atheists. What would you do if you had 1 week to live?
Okay, much like most of your questions in this video, these shouldn't be pointed at atheists. They should just be pointed at everyone. I don't see why you're singling out atheists, but what would I do if I had a week to live? Get to know my friends and family more. If I knew I was going to die in a week, see friends, family, get ready for dying. Simple as, pal. Probably party a few times as well.
Quick question for atheists. Are there any absolutes? And are you absolutely sure?
The only absolute is that I am awesome, and I'm absolutely sure that I'm absolutely awesome.
Quick question for atheists. Is incest wrong? What about if the man is sterile and they are unable to have kids? What about if he is not sterile but wears a condom? And what about if they use no birth control and they have a kid as a result? If you interchange between these scenarios, please explain why one is wrong and the other isn't.
Now, I may get some flack for this, but no, incest is not a moral problem. The problem comes with the breeding, the offspring. They can have all sorts of genetic problems that come from very close gene pools, as in brother and sister shagging and producing a child. But other than that, no, I don't see a problem as long as no one's hurt in any way and it's willing. Everyone's willing. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, no doubt. But, again, as long as no one gets hurt, I don't see a problem. The only problem I see is offspring. That's it. Not to say that I fancy my family, mind you, but I don't see a moral problem with it if others do. yeah, there's no moral guidance here beyond what's put down in law. Pretty much.
Quick question for atheists. Is it wrong to sell crack cocaine to kids? How do you know? What about dealing crack cocaine to adults? Again, how do you know? If you're interchanged between these two scenarios, please explain why one is wrong and the other isn't, and how you know.
Yes, it is wrong to sell crack cocaine to kids because they don't understand the full complications that come from it. Adults should be able to understand, but then again, if you're an addict, you're not going to understand much. Personally, I think it's your body to do what you like, just don't harm anyone else. And I think drugs should be legalised and controlled by trained medical staff at the time of their use. But for kids, no. Why? Because kids don't fully understand the complications and the problems that come from drug abuse. Or drug use even. And crack cocaine is one of the most highly addictive ones out there. Do you think it's alright, like, by asking this one? Do you think it's okay? Because it seems that way from what you're saying.
Quick question for atheists. What caused the Big Bang? How do you know? And what evidence do you have to come to your conclusion?
Well, that's one you should be asking an astrophysicist, not an atheist. But here we go. We don't know. We're not scared to say we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what caused the Big Bang as such. It's a misnomer, by the way. Did there have to be a cause? Who knows? No one knows at all.
Quick question for atheists. If your rotten neighbor and your favorite dog were both drowning, and you could only save one, who would you save and why?
In my case, it would be the dog.
If I could only save one, the human. Why? Well, I don't know. Because it's life. They're my own species. Depends. At the time, I can't really say I know it. Right now, the reason you're asking an atheist this is, I have no idea. You should be asking everyone. But no, you're trying to paint atheists in a bad light by asking these questions and seeing what results you'll get. I don't know. Especially by putting in Thunderfoot there. I don't know, it could be the dog, it could be the neighbour. Depends. It could be the hot bikini-clad lady that's swimming behind them. That's who I'd save. Oh yeah.
Quick question for atheists. Is it wrong to steal? What about stealing music through illegal downloads on the internet? Please explain why or why not, and what evidence you use to come to your conclusion.
Stealing, yes, it is bad to steal. Downloading music illegally, no. I know people that have done it and, well, they've bought more merchandise and gone to more gigs which supports the band from after downloading the music. In other words, that band has had more money from them since they downloaded their music free than they would have got if they paid for the music. The reason being that you get to learn more and more about more bands that way. And some people download it legally and then purchase. They just want to hear what it's like first. It's just about record companies wanting money in that case, and it's never been record companies that people get the money from. It's always been gigs and merchandise, which they control. The bands, that is. So yeah, there's your answer, pal.
Quick question for atheists. Where does human consciousness come from? How do you know? And what evidence did you use to come to your conclusion?
Human consciousness comes from the brain. It's from the neural networks in your brain. The wee electrical signals going from neuron to neuron in your brain. How do I know? It's been mapped. We've got things, computers that'll read your brain from you as long as when they're strapped to your brain. Science, baby, for the win. Well, in your case, it might come from that wee fuzz you've got that you call a moustache. Possibly.
Quick question for atheists. Is blasphemy wrong? Why or why not? What evidence did you use to come to your conclusion?
Here's a hint. I don't believe in your God or your religion. So would I care if I blasphemed against it? No, because it's not blasphemy. The only way you can blaspheme is if you believe in that religion or believe in that God. So yeah, blasphemy isn't wrong as far as I'm concerned. It's fine.
Quick question for atheists. What is the purpose of man's existence? How do you know? And what evidence do you use to come to your conclusion?
The purpose of every species is to breed. That's it. To survive and breed. We don't have a purpose as mankind as such. Who's to say we do? It's only since we started having sapient thoughts that we start to think about this, we start to ponder about this. What is our purpose? Why am I here? Who am I? All that bullshit. We don't have a purpose, pal. Nothing does, beyond surviving and breeding.
Quick question for atheists. Is it better to have high self-esteem or low self-esteem? How do you know? Please provide evidence to support your conclusion.
Well, seeing as you've lost your hat, I'll put mine on. Again, like pretty much every question you've asked here, except for two, I think, this has nothing to do with atheism. Why are you asking atheists? Why have I wasted my time with this? I don't know. Perhaps because it's entertaining for people. Who knows? Who cares? I dunno. What was the question again? I've forgotten. Ah yes, high self-esteem and low self-esteem. Well, low self-esteem is a pretty bad thing to have. That means you have no confidence in yourself. You become shy, introverted, don't go out much, don't see many friends, don't have any friends, that sort of thing. You have a pretty lonely existence. And high self-esteem means you become arrogant, brash, an arsehole in other words. So you best have a middle ground. Again, nothing to do with atheism though. Is it?
Quick question for atheists. What is the evolutionary origin of gender and sexual reproduction? How do you know? What evidence do you use to come to your conclusion?
Ask a biological scientist, not an atheist. Simple as, pal. Dear me. Though sex and the thought of you and sex together don't go well, do they, little kid? Okay folks, that's me done with his questions. But now we're going to another video of his, which I just had to include because it's hilarious. Video is called Atheism Destroyed in 2 Seconds. You ready for this, folks? Now I'm a believer after seeing this one!
I exist, therefore God exists.
There you go, folks. Wow. He exists, therefore God exists. Straight to my heart. Of course God exists if you exist. It's all in your fucking head. Dear. Gods and deities are generally, I'm not going to say they don't exist, but certainly religion is made up by man. That's not atheism destroyed. That's nothing destroyed. It's just you being a retard. Well folks, I'm done with this shocking God wannabe. He's got another video saying that fluoride is not good for your teeth. Fluoride's not good for you at all. He doesn't understand why fluoride's in water. Now, I had a wee joke about this with Serious Mind, and he may have a wee look at it. You never know.